Hi folks. After spending a night in Tuktoyaktuk, we leave Tuk on the Arctic Ocean in the Northwest Territories, Canada, and start back along the Inuvik Tuktoyaktuk Highway to Inuvik and then along the Dempster Highway to Eagle Plains, Yukon. We spend a night at the Happy Valley Campground in Inuvik, Northwest Territories, followed by a night at the Eagle Plains Campground in Yukon. This officially begins our long journey back to Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Of course, there were many distractions along the way, and I will highlight those in the upcoming videos. Recall, as grandparents, one of our goals in the year 2023 was to create some unusual Canadian experiences and new learnings for our two grandsons, Brayden and Adrien. Join us as we battle the Dempster Highway one more time, which was in pretty rough shape, at least in the Yukon part, in summer of 2023. We'll look again at the transition from shrub tundra to taiga or boreal forest north of Inuvik, see the place where Treaty 11 was signed between the Government of Canada and the local First Nation people, cross the Wright Pass from Northwest Territories back into Yukon, stop briefly at the Arctic Circle, and see a forest fire in the distance at Eagle Plains, Yukon. Enjoy! We awoke on the morning of July 19, 2023 to a very foggy day. We spent some time looking around Tuktoyaktuk one more time, nodded our head to the Arctic Ocean, and started our journey through Tuktoyaktuk to the Inuvik Tuktoyaktuk Highway. Stopped one more time at the famous Land of Pingos sign to admire the two large pingos in the distance. The one on the left is Ibiuk, the second largest pingo on Earth. Check out the links in the description to watch some of my other previous videos about Tuktoyaktuk and these pingos. So we're just leaving Tuktoyaktuk, and on the left you can see Ibiuk, and I'm not sure what the other one is called, but the Land of the Pingos. We then headed south along the Inuvik Tuktoyaktuk Highway, which was in excellent condition in the summer of 2023. The highway weaves across a landscape that is covered by many small lakes. These are thermal karst lakes. A thermal karst lake is a body of fresh water, usually shallow, that formed in a depression on the land. Many, possibly all, of these depressions, in this area at least, formed by thawing of permafrost. As the permafrost melts, the ground sinks, creating the depression. That depression fills with fresh water to form the lake. These thermal karst lakes are important habitats for migrating waterfowl. The northern part of the road crosses shrub tundra. This type of tundra lacks trees, but supports ground-hugging willow and other types of shrubs. And the tundra here is very hummocky. You can see, put my toe on a hummock. There's a hummock. And there's a hummock just right dead center. Lots of hummocks in here separated by spaces. Hard to walk through this stuff because you tend to fall off the hummocks into the area between. Lots of bog bilberry with actually blueberries. The land is quite hummocky, primarily because of the presence of cotton grass hummocks. These hummocks are quite hard to walk on, and some people call them ankle breakers, for obvious reasons. As we continued south, small, spindly conifer trees appear in valleys where they are protected from the harsh winds. This is a sign that we are soon to leave the subarctic tundra, cross the tree line, and enter the taiga forest. Well, we're heading south on the Dempster Highway and just starting to see real trees on the tundra. So we are in fact heading into, we're just at the tree line. Soon we arrive at the outskirts of the city of Inuvik. Shortly afterwards, we arrive at Happy Valley Territorial Park, our destination for the night. We like this park because it is a short, easy walk to downtown Inuvik. The campsites are simple, there is electrical service, but there is only a central water supply. In the summer of 2023, the laundry facilities, shower room, and the comfort station were under repair, but at least there were abundant pit toilets available. And today, Adrien is going to show us where we started and where we ended up on July 19, Wednesday.
So today we went straight from Tuktoyaktuk all the way to Inuvik with no stops.
And what's special about Tuktoyaktuk?
That is on the Arctic Ocean.
So that's the most northerly place that we're going to drive on this trip. Adrien is going to start off with his highlight and low light.
So today's highlight for me is probably I slept until like 11:30. Usually I'm waking up at like 7:30 to 8 or later than that. And the low light is definitely the mosquitoes here.
Okay, now it is Brayden's turn.
The highlight for me was sleeping in, and the low light for the 4th day in a row will be mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes get a heavy rap these days.
The more north you go, the worse they get.
On July 20, 2023, we started our leg from Inuvik, Northwest Territories, to Eagle Plains, Yukon. There was the mandatory stop at the new sign that welcomes you to Inuvik or bids you farewell as you head south. So we're on our way out of Inuvik, or heading south. So it's fitting, I guess, to get the sign of Inuvik. This is their new welcome sign, which is kind of cool. Strategically located beside the highway. The next major stop was the ferry across the Mackenzie River. So we're heading south from Inuvik. We're at the Mackenzie River, the famous Mackenzie River, waiting for the ferry crossing, the M.V. Lewis Cardinal, and it's just on the other side of the river. We had a lot of flooding this spring, and I guess we were hearing that both the Peel River crossing and the Mackenzie River crossing in 2023, early in the season, there were frequent closures as they dealt with flooding and damage to the docking area, loading area. Suddenly have a companion. But you get a sense of some of the river sediments that were deposited on the side of the Mackenzie during the flood stage. The ferry staff told us the cliff swallows have nested here on the ferry for as long as their memory recalls. After crossing the Mackenzie River, we continued south to Fort McPherson. We took the back way into Fort McPherson, and while in Fort McPherson, we bought gas and ate our lunch. We also visited the site where Treaty 11 was signed between the local First Nation people and the Government of Canada. I have much to say about the words that appear on this monument, but I cannot do justice to my thoughts in this video. I do ask that all Canadians, as treaty people, read the words carefully, reflect on the history since the signing of Treaty 11, and ask ourselves if we have lived up to the intent of the treaty. I just leave you with that question to ponder and research, please. Just south of Fort McPherson was our next destination, the ferry across the Peel River. We've just been through Fort McPherson and we're crossing the Peel River on the Peel River ferry, but it was a plus 14 this morning when we left Inuvik. It's now about plus 18. Fog and drizzle has disappeared, and we are blessed with a sunny afternoon. And it is Thursday, July 20, and this is a neat ferry because it's actually a cable ferry, which you might be able to see the cable just over in this area here that pulls the ferry across. Gotta go. Bye. We continued south from the Peel River to the Richardson Mountains and the Wright Pass. When leaving Northwest Territories and re-entering Yukon, the Dempster Highway crosses over the Richardson Mountains through the Wright Pass. The Richardson Mountains are quite majestic when seen from the plains to the east. During the last ice age, the Richardson Mountains formed a barrier that stopped the westward advance of the continental ice sheet, which covered the rest of Canada to the east. It's partly because of the mountain barrier that the large area of Yukon and Alaska remained ice-free during the last ice age. There's much more to say about that ice-free area called Beringia, but I can't address it in this video. The drive up the Wright Pass is not steep, and the highway is surrounded by tundra. As a weather note of interest, we have crossed the Wright Pass 6 times in the months of June or July since our first visit back in the year 2007. 3 of those 6 crossings were during a snowstorm. Needless to say, weather here can be unpredictable because the Wright Pass is located just 195 kilometers or 120 miles south of the Arctic Ocean. Fortunately, the weather with our grandsons was excellent, and we were able to enjoy a sunny but very windy photo op on the Wright Pass at the border between Northwest Territories and the Yukon. During our last visit in 2019, we boondocked on the Wright Pass, and I was able to hike that mountain well into the evening. Recall, we are still north of the Arctic Circle, and there is 24 hours of sunlight in July. One of the hazards when driving the Dempster Highway are flying rocks spit up by passing traffic. Note the oncoming trucks are easy to see because of the cloud of dust they kick up. So there is generally lots of time to slow down and pull over to minimize the chance of rocks hitting your windshield. We made one last stop at the Arctic Circle, so our grandsons had a last photo op. After all, it is the Arctic Circle, more or less, and from that perspective, it is an epic stop. We finally arrived at Eagle Plains, where we set up in the trailer park for the night. It was a lovely night, and we had a chance to relax to take in the scenic views. So it is Thursday, July 20. We are back in Eagle Plains, heading south. We left Inuvik this morning, and we are heading to Tombstone tomorrow, we think. And because it's an absolutely, well, it's windy, but it is a gobsmacking beautiful day here in Eagle Plains. Unlike the previous time we were here, when it was, as I recall, I think cloudy and perhaps even rainy. So we're going to do our drawing on the map and our highlights and lowlights of the day. Adrien is patiently waiting for us, and we'll go over onto the lookout stand to do it. So we're sitting here at Eagle Plains enjoying the evening, and Adrien pointed out there's a wildfire. There's a forest fire in the distance. Probably very hard to see on the video camera. And you can see the Dempster Highway snaking north with the Richardson Mountains in the background. The fireweed is just about done. It's at least 50%. Some are 75% done. There's some yarrow and another tall plant that I will have to identify and let you know. Oh, we're going to do the drawing of the map and highlights and lowlights of the day. Brayden's going to do the drawing and start with his highlights and lowlights.
Okay. Today we left Inuvik. We crossed the mighty Mackenzie. Then we crossed the Peel River. We went through the Wright Pass. And here we are in Eagle Plains.
And where did we stop along the way?
Fort McPherson and the Wright Pass and the Arctic Circle.
Busy day.
Yeah.
So what were now your highlights and lowlights?
I think the highlight for me was stopping at Fort McPherson. I think the low light for me for the 5th day in the row, I think it's 5th day, will be mosquitoes.
Okay.
So my highlight is probably getting here because it's really warm and really, really good weather. And the low light, it was a very, very, very long drive again.
That it is. Big part of Canada's a big country. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We ended the day with a drink of pop and ice water in the bar in the Eagle Plains Hotel. Now, before you think we are corrupting our grandsons, on this night, if you wanted dinner or any sort of cold drink, you had to go into the bar. So that was another first life experience for our underage grandsons. The bar at Eagle Plains, Yukon. So that's a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like or comment. I'll leave you with a few photos that summarize this trip from Tuktoyaktuk on the Arctic Ocean in Northwest Territories to Eagle Plains in northern Yukon. Be well, and we'll see you in the next video.